Businessman Jim Lehman was a candidate for the U.S. Senate 2 years ago when he laughed off my question about his role in the so-called fake elector scheme.
Sounds like he should go on the late night TV shows on the Comedy Hour. That's absolutely ludicrous.
But Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays did not joke around when she announced a grand jury indicted Lehman and 10 other so-called fake electors on criminal charges that they conspired to overturn the 2020 election results.
These charges include fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. These charges are Class 2, 4, and 5 felonies. These are serious indictments.
If convicted, the charges carry the possibility of time behind bars, according to Seth Gertz, a former federal prosecutor and white-collar defense attorney.
These are serious charges. They're as serious almost as it gets in the state of Arizona. These certainly carry jail terms. It's always hard to know what the actual sentence will be until you finish trial and then you ultimately come to sentencing. That would be the discretion of the judge.
Even though the 11 defendants signed a document that falsely claimed they were the duly elected and qualified electors, Gertz said this is not an open and shut case.
A lot of the evidence comes from stuff that occurred across the country with different people. You're going to have to prove that every single defendant had a criminal intent to commit a fraud. And getting inside their heads is always a tricky thing.
The lawyer currently representing 8 of the so-called fake electors said they are scheduled to be arraigned in court on May 21st. He issued a statement that reads in part, "We are encouraged that now the court process is in motion where rules govern rather than the ever-changing whims of politicians."
Now, it is unusual for an attorney to be representing so many clients, but I would expect that that will change by the time they do appear in court next month.
Is there a sense of how likely it'll be that these defendants do go through with this and end up in prison?
There's no sense that you heard the attorney there talking about. He specializes in kind of white collar crime and stuff like that. And there's a lot of factors to play into this. First of all, he doesn't even think this is an open and shut case. Like a lot of people, over the past few days, you see that they think it is. As far as where this all ends up, you're going to have to wait, and we'll have to wait and see. I mean, speculating on that kind of thing could be kind of risky at this point, I think.
And you said the end of May is when
there will be arraigned in court. That's what Kurt Altman, one of the attorneys, told me today.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis.